think we are live on Facebook. So you can share on your pages. We are live on Facebook now.
Fantastic.
Yeah, I'm checking. This song is for a young lady who God has blessed her in Ghana. It's called Ministry Vicky. Is it? Let me see. Yeah, Vicky Grant. And I'm just helping her to promote her music.
Oh, okay.
Grant, yeah. It's called Grant in Ghana. Okay. We're just going to go straight away from here. Okay, good evening, everyone. And it might be good morning somewhere, good afternoon, because our creator everywhere is different. So good morning, good afternoon, good evening, and good evening, everyone on this panel.
Good evening.
Good evening.
Evening from here.
Okay, and welcome to Pasito Radio. First of all, I will introduce myself. My name is Agnes Riafe, CEO of Pasito Radio, and then I am the global coordinator of Ghana Diaspora Women, and treasure as well. So this evening we have Ghana Diaspora Women on, and then we have one man. He will introduce himself as well. So I can say it's all the panel women. So I will then start with Sharon, who introduce herself and the position and.
Hello, hi, I'm Sharon Akumia. I sit with the Executive Committee on Ghana Diaspora Women. I'm also a lawyer who specializes in data protection and commercial contracts.
Okay, then I'll go to Angela next.
Hello, I'm Angela Santiamar. I'm a UK employment lawyer and life coach, also a member of Ghana Diaspora Women.
Then I'll go to Thomason.
Good evening, family. I'm an academic at BCU. I'm also a pastor for Light of Grace International Christian Center in Birmingham.
Then I will go to our sister Mary.
Good evening, everybody. My name is Maria Mwakwa-Bwedu, founder of Ghana Diaspora Women.
Della, have I said Della? Della.
I'm here.
No, okay, then I'll go to Della next.
Okay, so good evening, everyone. My name is Della Mauto, a member of Ghana Diaspora Women, and I'm a counseling psychologist in training.
Wow. And then we will go to Sister Augusta.
Hi, everyone. Augusta Siao is my name. I am on the executive board of the Ghana Diaspora Women and a teacher by profession.
Then we will go to our dear Mama for that.
Hello, my name is Ya Foda Tobra, and I'm with Ghana Diaspora Women in Edmonton, Canada.
Wow. And I will finally go to our gentleman here to introduce himself.
Well, hi there. My name is Martin Asamoah. I'm a practicing social worker, specializing in child protection.
So welcome this evening. If you're watching us, this is Ghana Diaspora Women. We are a body that we stand for women and girls. So today we're going to talk about abuse. Because we've realized there's so many abuses going on, but as a board and as a women of the diaspora, we want to stand. So today our main aim is to talk about abuse. So I'm going straight to the social worker, who is Mr. Martin Asamoah, to tell us what is abuse. Because most of the time we hear abuse, somebody may not really know what it is. So we want him to tell us from his side as a social worker, what is abuse?
Thank you. So if we said domestic abuse is defined as any pattern or incident of controlling, coercive, threatening, degrading, and violent behavior, including sexual, towards the other partner. And in this context, disproportionately larger proportion of the victims happen to be, unfortunately, women. So that is the basic definition of domestic abuse.
So, Auntie Augusta, domestic abuse, where do you think it really happens? Where? Which area does it really happen? Or what do you think commonly happen? That's
Well, when we talk about domestic abuse, or we talk about abuse in general, it can happen anywhere. And anybody can be a victim of abuse. But if you are looking at domestic abuse, then we will maybe look at the home. And as our brother said rightly, it is mostly women who have this, become victims of this abuse. So when it comes to abuse, it can happen anywhere and it can happen to anyone at all.
I think today, because it's women, I want us to talk about the verbal and the hitting, the physical side of the abuse as well. The verbal abuse and the physical abuse, because verbal become bullying as well. So we go to Thomason. Can you tell us when we talk about physical abuse?
Yes, thank you very much. Before I get to physical abuse, what I want us to bear in mind is that abuse is a power thing. People want to always be in control of other people. So each of us have a level of power to exert over other people, whether as an academician, as a lawyer, as a teacher, as a mother, as a father, as a member of the public. And when we misuse this power, that is abuse. So abuse is not necessarily physically, it can be emotional, it can be psychological, financially, you can even abuse somebody. There are various forms. So physical abuse, I would say, is when you actually put your physical hands on somebody. And we have to be mindful here because the law does not allow you to literally touch anybody in any way or form. But then again, it depends on which country you are in. In the Western world, it's very much a situation to be dealt with legally when you touch somebody physically.
Okay. I'm just touching something there. I think you said the Western world, but I think abuse itself in any country, to my knowledge, the law is there. It's just we don't use it. It's not that it's not there. It is there, but we don't use it.
Yeah, I agree with that.
Yes, I went to Ghana and there was an issue. They have the law. It's just so we don't go about it. That's how it is really.
If I clarify my point here, the culture in the Western world does not support any form of abuse at all.
Yes.
And if you go to other countries, we disciplined as discipline, quote, exactly. It is abuse.
Yeah.
But in some cultures, in some tradition, it's an acceptable norm. That is why I made that distinction. I just wanted to clarify that no form of any touching, whether it's in the form of disciplining or loving or whatever, is allowed at all. But in some cultures, the culture accepts that.
Mama Father, what do you have to say about this?
I'll go with what Thomason was saying, the culture. For our purposes or for our background, I have a feeling, my thinking is that the way that we are raised or nurtured has an impact. And so then, with us, my opinion is that a lot of responsibility is put on women in terms of relationships. Like as soon as you are born, growing up, women have to do this, women have to do that. Obadia is the term that they use, right? So woman's role is like...
Place the kitchen.
Sorry?
Woman's place is in the kitchen.
Yes.
Woman's place is in the kitchen.
Yes.
Yeah.
You have a role that you have to play. And so we have women growing up with this mindset of, oh, I need to get married. Without even knowing who they are. So there's identity issues. A woman, just like a man, needs to know who they are. And what you present in the relationship is what makes the difference of the power balance that I think it was Thomason who mentioned it, power, like the struggle. Yeah.
That was myself.
Okay, we go to Dala.
Okay, so generally I want to add to definition of abuse, that in general, abuse is when you cause someone harm or distress. That's a general definition of abuse. And it would interest our viewers to know that there are 7 types of abuses that I know of. So the physical abuse that we're talking about, which is the use of physical force, which may result in bodily injury, physical pain, or impairment. And it includes and is not limited to acts of violence such as striking with or without an object, hitting, beating, pushing, shoving, shaking, slapping, just as pinching, and then burning, and sometimes to inappropriate use of drugs. And you actually want to forcefully administer drugs to somebody. It's a form of physical abuse. And then, wanting to force feed somebody is also a form of physical.
If you're spitting on somebody, it's abuse.
And then we have the popular one we all know is sexual abuse, and that's non-consensual sexual contact of any kind.
Yeah.
I'll go to Marine. What's your view about this?
So I think, first of all, I would agree with what everybody has said so far, that as human beings, as individuals, we have human rights. So everybody is entitled to be safe, to be safe, to feel safe, and to feel protected. And everybody has a right to their own person, to their own body. And so no other human being has the right to touch anybody in any form of abuse or in any way that would hurt the other person. So I think for all the different sections of abuse that have been mentioned, they are all totally unacceptable if anybody demonstrates that to another person. So nobody is allowed to hit another individual. Nobody is allowed to verbally abuse another individual. Anything that you would do that would infringe on somebody's rights in terms of hurting them or causing pain to them, for me, is abuse.
I think it's well explained. So why do people commit abuse?
Before we go there, if I may add, proximity does not deter abuse, if that makes sense. So you don't have to be close by me to abuse me. You can be across the world in China and still. Exactly.
That's a good point. Very good point.
And that is why even cyber bullying and everything is a big deal now. So we need to bear all of that in mind. You don't have to be related to me in any way or form. You don't have to, I don't have to know you. You don't have to know me. You can still be far away and still exert that abuse on somebody.
So thank you very much. Can I briefly, on that note, add other forms of abuse? So we have harassment and stalking. We have financial abuse. We have economic abuse, emotional, and then just like what our sister just mentioned, we have online and digital abuse, which in the UK here has recently been incorporated into the law.
Also, we also talk about other forms of abuse. Well, what we now recognize as abuse, so such as some cultural practices like ironing of the chest, of the breasts for some women, young girls, also female genital mutilation. We are now finding that these are now abuses, where some of the cultural practices, I don't know the specific term, but it's mainly within our Ewe community in Ghana and Togo and in Benin, where they force young women to go and marry because to release the sins or the debts of their ancestors or their parents or their grandparents. I don't know the actual term of that.
That the trocosi you are trying to.
Yes, trocosi. Yes. Now we're seeing that those now being termed as forms of abuse.
Absolutely. If I may come in here, I think Sharon raises a very good point, because I know that the UN Women, the women's wing of the United Nations, is actually championing such a cause with various women's organizations, including, I believe, African Union, the women's side of African Union. So forced marriages, marrying children off at a very young age, as well as the FGM, which is a female genital mutilation. All of these things are now being incorporated into the law because, once again, they are being deemed as abuse now, abuse towards women and girls.
Okay, so
is it so I think, sorry, can I come in? So I think basically what abuse is, I mean, doing something, I just want to say it in the simplest form, is doing something to another without that person's consent.
That's right.
All right. If you are doing something or you are asking something of me or trying to impose something on me and I am not for it, it is simply abuse.
Yeah.
Which is not permissible at all in any form. In very simple terms.
Can we break, Sister Augusta, can you break that down into our local dialects for us, please?
Yeah.
Whether it's Chi or Ga or yeah.
Maybe I'll do Chi. Ni American say obi per se. So it is roughly me China Babefra. That obi ebe Marie China.
Okay, so obi per se or you be enya wo pe.
Aha. Obi per se obey you be. Now wo oba be ya at the kwade ba be ya no. Wo ma ho kwan. Wo ma ho kwan. So didn't say count. So or can in any form, say that there are many forms of abuses that we have talked about. It's in any form that the pakoni per se or yellow. So one ni pakona ever was so say wo ma ho kwan. And I mean it's not allowed.
Yeah.
I don't know if that makes sense.
Nije body and joko pene no more febue actual abuse. And that you pene no make a face more fair less more now abuse. But why been a canenco?
Allo, hapo more be.
Okay, febu. Yeah.
I go many ready. Nelly. Yeah, amade nada one than chew. She come another Jew. I love them now. Yeah, I will not like abuse.
TDW, we do it all.
We are very serious. We are very serious.
Yeah.
We have to really break it down.
Yeah.
We have to really break it down into our own language, our various languages, so that people can really understand. Wow. And the year can you say, or nipa daseni, so we are bar, so we are bema. Obie ni sa we abofra anase opanino obie ni hu kwan say oya wo ade bia ebe ya wo kraya obie ni sa tumi no se obo wo se ode ne nsa e ka say bia obro se odi watem se be one wo da a wo fa wadwene emma no say pese wona ne da na ono ade ni tumi and the power be at war and forcing itself on you, no. And woman in the air can say a abuse. See, Casemukran abuse HB. Aha, say our realm, our for be by for acting Sikana, not all man and yonko, and said ya access to Sika a war our real mubino. Nina no a forms of abuse. It's no like you guswa, ya church remuna. And I am the past say, yeah, all the various languages are you bet me a kawaha.
If you see your educational abuse, or do a what or more banana beman in school, 1 month or back who quite that's what by now. Before you but educational abuse.
Yes. Abuse, a form of verbal abuse. What nim ya just say ya dream muscle. Hey, dear friend, gaslighting. And then
yes,
you say Nipani uses psychological means to manipulate you to feel say when your papa says boom. And that is it happens all over. That's like
that is that goes with emotional, isn't it?
It is very much emotional,
psychological,
emotional. Yeah.
And also to break it down into so that our people will actually understand what we are trying to explain and talk about. If I can explain a few of what we mentioned, for example, sexual abuse. Most often, when you mention sexual abuse, in child protection cases, people or women from Black and ethnic minorities, their understanding of sexual abuse is only when a stranger has actually raped you.
Yeah.
But it's more than that. There can be sexual abuse within marriage.
Yes.
The fact that you are married to someone or you are in a real intimate relationship with someone does not give that person, that man, the opportunity to have sex with you at his will. It has to be consensual. It has to be mutual. So that's where sexual abuse can also happen within marriage relationship. And then harassment and stalking also. Most often we come across separated couples, but in the quest of the man trying to win the woman back, the man may use all sort of tactics, harassment, stalking, to make the woman's life very miserable. Okay, so all these are all sort of abuses that unfortunately some of our women in the community, because of our cultural background, they normalize it and accept it as the norm. So more education is needed around those areas also.
If I may correct what you just said here, my brother, the women have not normalized it. That is what they've grown up to see. It is the culture. They haven't made it the norm. It is what they grew up into. So they don't know any different. And therefore, a platform like this is very important in opening our eyes to these things and saying it is not an acceptable practice, even if the culture actually supports it.
Because they say it's family stigma. Two men come
Yes.
The child will tell. The stepfather will abuse the child, and the mother will even say, no, don't say it.
Yes.
Yeah. Auntie Agnes.
Yes.
Can we let Minister Thomason, Pastor Thomason, give us a perspective of what I will term as spiritual abuse? And what I mean by that is when men of God use their spiritual authority to abuse people in their church, especially, once again, women.
That's okay. Yeah.
Wow. That's power, isn't it? Yeah.
Yeah, it is. It is like I began in the beginning. Miss Chassi and can say, it comes to power.
How do you know what you want to say?
Oh, sir, the thing is, Onyankopon Fred Nipadaseni, yes, Ukraine, a minister these gifts. It was Christ who gave these ministering gifts. And he gave this ministering gift, Ephesians chapter 4, for a purpose. I'll say for the equipping of the saints, Ephesians chapter 4, from verse 9 going down. From verse 9, Bible says, he who went down is also the same who went up, and he brought together all things into himself. Into yes, who you're not sorry, Bible says he presented himself up before God. And look what Jesus had to me way now, and no better chair, ministering gifts. Ministering gifts, no, a person number one, teacher, pastor, apostle, prophet, and evangelist. Deliverance is gaining. So there's nothing even like a deliverance minister. And no dancing. Now, the start to me, you know, my and say, we can go to Ephesians chapter 4, being a week the Bible, Ephesians chapter 4, verse 11. Or say so that we would become, or say to unify us, we become unity. When we say become unity, to unify the body of Christ. Yes, at what so called, or say so that, but on the Bible one. Or say so that you be a journey back, near Yantia Baku, Ewo, a Jumana ye, and Sebi. So bad yet.
And he gave some apostles and some prophets and some evangelists and some pastors and teachers for the perfecting of the saints, for the work of ministry, for edifying the body of Christ.
Now, first one is to perfect the saints.
Yes.
Second one is to edify. And then, yes, sir.
Yeah.
Okay. But what was so? 13.
Till 13. Also, till we come in the unity of the faith and of the knowledge of the Son of God, unto a perfect man, unto the measure of the stature of the fullness of Christ. That we henceforth be no more children, tossed to and fro, and carried out by every wind of doctrine, by the scent of men and cunning craftiness, whereby they lie in wait to deceive. But speaking the truth in love, may grow up into him in all things, which is the head, even Christ. From the whole body, fitly joined together and compacted by that which every joint supplieth according to the effectiveness, working in the measure of every part, making increase of the body unto edifying itself in love.
Amen.
I can't.
Are we still on? My screen is gone.
Yeah, it turned funny.
Mine is gone as well.
It's
back.
It's back on. Yeah. Thank you very much. And to show, Christ had only one thing in mind. Number one, he wants all pastors, all preachers, all whatever to equip the saints for the work of ministry and to edify the body of Christ till we all come to the unity of faith and knowledge of the Son of God. Now, as my baby said, as of was saying now, or bringing somebody up. So now, Janet is to bring you up. So as one, as we speak now. Obia ejuma all year, most of them, a good percentage, you know, it's about being on top, being in control, being in charge,
Thank you.
As if they are the creator of the universe.
Exactly.
I have seen some pastors say to people that one it's like, if you don't come to my church, you won't even have life.
Yes.
As if they give you life.
And
Yes.
That's
Thank
right.
you.
That's right.
They pray on you so you go and die.
Yes.
And that is the work of the devil. So for bias, some they free the number ban on yes, let's be honest. Nyankopon is nothing but good. He is purely good, and the goodness of God is what we manifest as children of God. Now, Nyankopon pour out of His will. People don't understand. Out of the love of God, He will watch you go to hell. Onyame dowa say unstoppable. If you don't want to follow Him, if you don't want to believe Him, He won't do it. He won't control you. He presented Genesis chapter 2. He first presented the tree of life to Adam. First, he said, here is the tree of life. And then second, he said, then there is the tree of death. And he gave him the information that he needed. How if you eat of this tree, you will die. God gave Adam the information and left Adam to make a choice. And when
he gave us our will, isn't it?
Yeah. They be an say witchcraft Ghana, you say witchcraft or more mutu. Obia or person didn't pack a 2 me friend and some a control say the panel or yeah, if anything, or your witch, or if I can cancel exactly. They say, who person who say obiso and didn't panel to me and Yamada and send the panel. Or no, so I know so ya back on. Or person who didn't pass through the be and now we just sell 2 many friends some some.
Minister Thomason.
That is where manipulation comes in, isn't it?
Yeah, Minister Thomason. And he says, Sadia, nature say, I saw for a one Ghana sebe. One more abusing the power, or more sorry demono. Yeah, person or more a question, sorry no. Because do a ma a question, sorry. And the reason why I can confidently say Duduana ye mano is because ye man penikura amayati say or my Ghana muno and mano yene ye dosh chain mema ye be 52%.
Yeah.
And the Ghana ma ye dosh chain and mema. And no sasadia net is a sorry no and mano the dosh will honor more. And see, ya ma minum ni yen ya no ma any ya mama na kwasa sorry na asofo ne hyemo so no mo penesuma wo mo edi omode omo play mind games a omo do mo tumi nyina eje mo kra ekuta wo mo nsem no enne wo nua no mo ba ye wa kwantu ye pese mo ti ase say osofo bia ote sa wo te ne na ase no onya sofo papa
on free nyame
On free nyame.
Okay. I just want to highlight a few things and add a little bit to what my sister had just said. Thank you very much. You've really touched the issue as it should. One, you mentioned Ghana. You made reference to the pastors in Ghana alone. I can tell you
the whole world.
That it's not only Ghana.
The whole world.
I see the whole world.
Across the globe, wherever you find African or Ghanaian community.
Yeah.
All right. Okay.
Yeah.
It's not just African. It's everywhere.
Okay.
It's everywhere.
Yes. Thank you.
When it comes to, I think
it's everywhere. If you tell somebody if you don't pay this money at church, there is no blessing attached. If you tell somebody if you don't pay tithe, whether you're an American or a Jamaican or a Chinese or whatever, you are trying to control, and there is no blessing attached to giving. That is not the way God made things. And we are misinterpreting the word of God for our business and financial benefits.
Yeah. And we need to highlight this. We need to highlight this, that the church is in the UK here. I don't know the laws in the other countries, but in the UK here, the churches have been registered as charities. They get to all the tithes that the congregations pay. The leaders, the pastors, they benefit out of it because at the end of the year, the government adds to it whatever money that they pay as tithe. So briefly, if I can relate to that the behavior of these so-called pastors to abuse the topic that we are talking about here.
Okay, let me point something here. If you are listening, we are saying some of the pastors. So we are not doing a general thing.
Yeah.
We said because our minister here is a person, some of the pastors. So we have said it, some of it.
Clarified.
Thank you. Thank you. So sometimes we come across situations where you have women in the churches who are going through serious abuses. They are victims of domestic abuse, financial abuse, sexual abuse. And sometimes even their children are being abused by uncles, close family members. Then the pastors will want to cover these things up. So if you are investigating some of these cases, the women, unfortunately, some of the women trust the pastors more than the law enforcement officers who are paid to protect them. And that is the level of power and control that some of the pastors are enjoying and exploit the vulnerable and the vulnerabilities of our people.
Oh, that is right. So can I come in here, please? Can I come in here, please? Can we let Sister Agnes, can you let Sister Angela and Sister Sharon, if they can, because they are the lawyers on the platform. So now that we've touched a little, our brother has touched a little bit on the law, let's allow the lawyers to give us their perspective on how to report abuse. Why, first of all, why must we report abuse?
Yeah,
where do we go to?
I had all those there, but it seems like the whole thing just went another
direction. Yeah.
Yes, so that's why I've just, I wanted everybody to bring their view, so that at least we can bring all, and then it's one.
Yeah.
So that's why the law side. But I think can I say something?
Can I come in quickly before the two ladies do? Both Marie and the gentleman, Mr. Samoa, and Pastor Thomason touched on some very important things, because Pastor Thomason was talking about the church.
what I have to say about that is that, you know, based on the scripture that we read, like she said, you're supposed to be nurturing people to become like you. We're all trying to become Christ-like. But why is it that when you're in a church setting and you have some gifts in you, you become viewed as a threat, and then that too becomes a form of oppression? You are viewed, yes, you are a threat, so they abuse you, and then you start suffering mentally, emotionally. So sometimes you have no option but to get out of that situation. And then, and there are a lot of people caught in that trap. They can't move.
So
and you have to realize that you're a human being. You came to this earth by yourself. And you can't give anybody that power over you such that because, spiritual, right? And some of the comments that Marie raised, like I'm putting Mr. Samuel and Sister Marie's points together and saying that a lot of this goes back to the cultural conditioning. Like, how on earth can a woman, you know, Marie was saying that you need to leave those churches. Do you know the threats? People, they prey on people. They'll pray physically. I'm in your church. I'm doing well. You love me. But as soon as I decide to leave, then you start preying on me. That is Christian witchcraft.
Exactly.
Okay?
There's nothing like Christian witchcraft. Just
witchcraft. It's just witchcraft. Okay. Well, I'm saying that because there's a book titled like that. I have a book titled that. And so anyway, just to finish up, you know, based on what Mr. Samuel is saying, look at the mentality. The comments that Marie made, a lot of these things, it's us women who oppress other women. You know, if you have a child and your husband, maybe it's your real husband or the stepfather of the child, is abusing the child and you don't do anything about it, you are perpetuating a generational thing. The child will grow up with all these problems, go into relationships, they can't function in the society. So, you know, a lot of us, our systems and things that we do is based on hypocrisy, and we need to learn to speak the truth.
That's right.
I'll leave it there for now.
Yes, can I also chip in something before the lawyers come? I find something very distressing in our churches. And Pastor Thomason, correct me if I'm wrong. I don't think that God has grandchildren. We are all children of God. Yes, the men of God are shepherds, but why on earth do we make it look like some pastors are the only people who have direct link
access
to the throne room of God, so that we, the church members, are so brainwashed. Sebi, pastor must tell you when to eat, what to wear, when to travel. If he doesn't confirm that, you don't move. What are we doing with the brains that God gave to us as children of God?
I would love for us to have another session, women, and talk about the mind of the abuser.
Yes.
The person being abused. You think they don't know? They know. Everybody who is suffering any form of abuse knows it. But how do they deal with it? How do they respond? How do they react? And why do they allow it to carry on? But that is a whole session to go through.
And then also, Minister Thomason, another aspect of it is getting into the mind of the abuser themselves. So I think the point you just raised is the victim. The victim because they are being abused.
Yes.
Yeah.
Why do they allow it to carry on? It's a psychological thing. And that's why we have you and Sister Della on, because both of you are into psychology. And then also getting into the mind of the abuser themselves. Why do people abuse other people? Because the abuser also knows that what they are doing is
wrong. Yeah.
Yes. They are also aware. So I think, as you said, rightfully, we may have to schedule another conference call like this and delve into that. But for me, for the purposes of this tonight's conversation, I also want to know from the lawyers on the panel, why people report abuse? Women especially, why don't women report abuse? Ghanaian women, we are Ghana diaspora women. So let us narrow our conversation now to Ghanaian women.
Ghana, yeah.
So lots of Ghanaian women are being abused in their marriages, in their churches. They see their children being abused, their daughters, for that matter, a lot of the girls are being abused at home. The mothers are aware, nothing about it. Why is that the case? Why don't people report? Especially for those of us who live abroad, where we know that the laws work. So if we can perhaps hear from our sisters in that angle.
Sure.
Really.
So what I would say is that the answer to the question is a lot of what we have addressed already. We've talked about the physical abuse, and some of the most damaging abuse is the mental, emotional abuse. It takes a lot for somebody to be going through something, whether it's physical, whether it's verbal, and then to go and share that not just with a stranger, but for an authority. And the authority as well is also usually seen as male. The authority figure is usually seen as male. So you can imagine from a woman's perspective, not only must you leave your home, leave your family, go and report something, you need to tell another male or something that is perceived as male that something has happened to you. And when in your mind, you're telling yourself that men aren't safe because you're being in the context of if you're being abused by men aren't safe. So it takes a lot. That's number one. Number two, even for the ones who are brave enough, courageous enough to go and to report, then what happens, which happens actually all over, but we're talking about Ghana, what happens, and their studies have been done, is that that person is actually seen as, they themselves are the ones who are judged. They're the ones that are asked to
allowing themselves
to prove themselves, to justify. I was on a forum the other day, and the questions being asked of both men and women in the case of, for instance, if a woman is abused, in the instance, I think it was a husband who spat on his wife. The questions were, well, what did the woman do for them to do that? You understand? It always comes down to the victim having to justify what their action was that attracted that behavior in the first place, instead of, no, first of all, whatever happened, this abuse was wrong. Then you go back and you say, okay, so what is it that happened? But it's fighting an emotional and internal struggle. Then you have to go and fight the system, because it's not easy. There's red tape.
It's not easy. Yeah.
There's bureaucracy. Like many of you mentioned, there's the traditional, there's the shaming. Oh, how can I put my personal business, family business out there? And then somebody else mentioned, again, the traditional cultural conditioning that actually a study I think was done even in Ghana around 2011 that showed something like 66, that's a very round number, 66% of women, to some extent, they actually not condone, but they accept that there are circumstances in which a woman is okay to be disciplined by her husband. So we have a lot of mindset things going on as well as the system. And so the law in itself is good. It's a tool, but it cannot work in isolation. There's so many other boxes that we have to tick to work together with the law to enable more women and more men. It's not, we're talking about women because we're the majority who are abused, but the men too. The men have their own reasons in terms of, stigma. Oh, how can I go and report that my woman is, violating or abusing me? So there are a lot of hurdles. There are a lot of hurdles for women to confront, to go and report it before they can actually see some kind of justice. And then the Department of the Domestic Violence and Victim Support Unit, there's only so much they can do as well. They have a hotline, 055 1900 for anybody who needs it. They have a hotline.
Is that a UK number or Ghana number?
Sorry, that's the Ghana number. So for outside Ghana, that's +233 55 1900. And they can only do so much. They rely on the what can I say, the assistance of NGOs, okay, non-governmental organizations, to help shelter anybody that comes to them reporting abuse. So they alone can't do it. Then there's the issue of, well, some of it is seen to be private. They think it should be dealt with private doors. So there's a lot. It's a very complex issue because there are many things that need to be dealt with. So that's what I would say for now.
I absolutely support what my sister Angela has just said. So, for instance, in Ghana, a lot of cases about defilement and rape is dealt with informally. So people won't go to the police, they'll go to their pastor, or they'll go, if it's in the village, they'll go to the chief to deal with it, because that's what we used to do prior us becoming a democracy and a forward-thinking legal system. in Ghana, and so many people do not go to the police. Then there is, when you go to the police, as Sister Angela has said, is that how do they deal with it? Most of the time the police are under-resourced. It takes time to report these cases and for them to then go and investigate. Sometimes you'll go to a police station, they'll say, oh, give me money to take transport for petrol, or money for like, I mean, it's just unacceptable. And then there's the training of the police. I don't know too much around their training, but from some cases that I've heard and from some research, we do need to train our police and those who support victims a lot more. I mean, we've got NGOs in Ghana who do their best in this type, but understanding the complexities of some of these crimes, and the cultural mindset of these things shouldn't be kept away. They should be brought out in the open. Then when we get to the court system, I mean, the conviction rate cases in Ghana for rape, for defilement, next to nothing. I think it's less than 3% of all cases that come, even if it gets to court, is even convicted. I mean, for some people, even simple food is a difficulty. Who is going to pay for a lawyer to then represent them? And our prosecution services, they're also oversubscribed with other cases that they need to deal with. Rape comes right at the bottom of things, and so that's what also leads people to then go down the informal route of, okay, you give me some money, give the family some money, let's keep it quiet and things. And it's just wrong. Then also, unlike here, where now many professionals who are dealing with children, it may be pastors, it may be teachers, social workers, nurses, doctors, where we have safeguarding policies. We don't have those type of safeguarding policies in our schools in Ghana. So there is the responsibility and the duty for professionals here who work with children, not only to be CRB checked, so checked, make sure that they're checked, criminally checked, and they're able to work with children and they don't have past convictions, but also the duty to report. In fact, for teachers now, it is another burden on them too, even though we shouldn't see it as a burden, but it's on top of everything they have to do. Now they have to be, if they suspect a case of some form of abuse against a child or something, they have to report it. They themselves can be in trouble if they're found to have hidden it. The same with our churches too, our pastors, and our youth, those who volunteer in our youth groups. I was a trustee recently, a trustee of a charity. We had to make sure we were all safe. We all had safeguarding policies, and we've all been CRB checked. We just don't have that level of due diligence in Ghana. So a child may not even understand that they're being abused, may go and speak to the teacher, and the teacher will say, oh, you just keep quiet, oh, don't worry, God will help you. Or the teacher then starts taking advantage of that poor child too. So these are the complexities that we're seeing in Ghana, and something needs to be done about it. I mean, the gender ministry, when it comes to budgeting, the gender ministry doesn't get that much at all. And so when we look to the gender ministry to also help and put some of these institutions in place, they find it very, very difficult. It's just not taken as seriously as it should be in Ghana.
Yeah.
So Sharon,
Sharon is saying, I just want to chip in. When we went to Ghana, I was there with Marine, and I happened to take somebody to social services because the man is not taking care of the child. When we got there the first time, they took his number and gave us a date. We then went for the second time. So when they went, they called him, he didn't answer. The third time, they called him and he verbally abused the social people on the telephone.
Wow.
After that, they told the person I went with that she has to find a lawyer and take him to court. The school fees is not met already. They are paying, they can't even afford the school fees. So how will that person then go and pay a solicitor to go or to pay for that person?
If I may just jump in there, whose fault is all of this? It is the system. It is the government. Our government has not put. Listen, if you go to Ghana and you see the cars they are driving and the houses they are living in and the number of gadgets they are using, and nobody is interested in the welfare of their neighbor.
That's
nobody.
Right.
Nobody. If the government hasn't made a law that is enforceable, How dare you talk back at a social worker, let alone abuse them?
Yes.
Yeah.
That's what I said. I said, oh, this is just here. That
In the Western world, when a social worker knocks on your door, you are running. You start
You're running. You're scared.
Yeah. Yeah.
So
but
if there is one thing we want to do as Ghana diaspora women, what we want is to push all the way for the government to begin enforcing laws that are favorable. That are favorable to the body of the whole country, individuals, and respect the welfare, respect the human rights and the welfare of people. As I speak to you, people still have children and throw them away because they don't want it, or because a pastor told them the child is a devil, and people abandon their children because the traditionalists said this, and the king said, I mean, the mind of Ghanaians.
The set of people.
I think Minister Thomas says,
very
to all of us on the panel and to those listening to us right now, these are the sorts of things that we are going to be championing as an organization.
Amen.
Because just as you said, and for me, I always like to go back to make reference to some of the things that our president has said on international platforms. And one of the things that President Akufo-Addo keeps hammering on, in fact, he said this in France and it went viral, is the fact that Africans living in the diaspora need to be a key part of the change that will happen in Africa. And I'm paraphrasing here. I cannot quote him directly, but his conversation was along those lines and it went viral, which means that we have a call on duty upon us as Ghanaians living in the diaspora. Why? And especially as women, because once again, we are the majority. You see, and we have come to live on the other side of the world. We have seen how laws and regulations and all these things work effectively here. Even then, in the West, people still complain. And sometimes I wonder if Africa had an iota of what the protection that we enjoy here, you know? So these are the sorts of things that we need to push. And so we are not just sitting here having a conversation and then we turn it off and we leave it at that. As of tomorrow morning, as early as even tomorrow morning, we are going to start writing formal letters to the Ministry of Gender. They need to hear from those of us living in the diaspora that certain things are going on in Ghana in terms of abuse of women and girls that we those of us in the diaspora are not happy about. And then perhaps we will have to sit down, all of us together, and come up with a document with recommendations that we can present to them. One of those recommendations being the fact that, for example, teachers and churches need to be regulated so that pastors and teachers and support staff, anybody who works with children and pastors and have to have something like what we were saying, like the DBS. Where their background is checked to make sure that they have not committed any crime or any abuse of any nature in the past before they are issued licenses to go about and operate or to go and teach. Just as we do here in the UK. Because going back to Ghana, we are a British colony. A lot of our laws, and the lawyers are here, correct me if I'm wrong, a lot of our laws, I believe, are based on the premise of the laws of the UK.
Exactly. Yes.
So we cannot just continue to sit back and sing the same song. We've sung it for 63 years. We have to start changing the tune. That things
exactly.
If things don't work in Ghana, say I'm making sure that things will begin to work in Ghana.
And the one thing I would add is so the one thing that I would add to what Sister Maria is saying is that, as well as the voice of the diaspora and why we must come and help our sisters there, is to change the structure. So along the lines of what we are doing to ensure that more women are involved in decision making, especially at the top. 63 years and there's never been a female president. Not that it's just a gender thing.
I just want us to know all that we're doing is about this.
If I may come in, I mean, what? Yeah, can I go on?
Yeah.
Right. I mean, Marie,
all this is about.
I agree with all that you are saying.
Augusta, this is why I want you to listen.
Okay.
So mind the year. Say you.
Oh my no seri yo. Na oh man for bra to be do ya bra ya de ya oh my dear ya contribution ya de ba oh my Ghana and the betchere say oh my Ghana be kon nim and I said the original no begina.
Marie, and no na me person, that is what I was trying to say, that yes, we can do all that. But if we don't, Niame can say, Nia can and it's, I mean, you will say young baby. But my point is maybe because I'm a teacher, I'm always bent on education. I think that the people of Ghana, a man, we have to set workshops of some sort.
Yes.
So that we will educate them.
Mindset change.
Well, if we don't change their mindset, we will put the laws in place and
yes.
The abuse will go on. I mean, a pastor can tell you that your husband is abusing you. All you need is deliverance. I mean, you understand? And I was saying, you to me,
who call deliverance? So I mean, try one to Augusta. Who call deliverance? Now, a son said, or no one who's the husband abuse or now why you're vulnerable.
No, it's what take advantage.
What take advantage now? For no
exactly.
And yes.
Yeah. And we have. My point is education.
Yes.
Adult education.
I agree.
We have to find a way to educate our dear sisters to understand what is going on. Well, if we're able to change the mindset.
Oh, okay. Me try some catching me chin and moon tip and but I'll try. The American in and one me so me the UK kakra. So I say na lawyer no me refugee no me pacha
Angela and Sharon.
Angela na okay about stigma and the hindrances and obstacles are a prevented yenu man bi mo ho amoko abuse mu no se ombe reporting wa ho enti within UK no wa ho obu ho na wakofa ebia onya ne nkra be man na di kan baaye na wakofa oba na ba the immigration system now most of this developed countries, you know, and the more recent years, you know, immigration policies now are more harder and harder for us people from migrant background, you know, and UK in specific, you know, for first nanka 2 years na your money indefinite. After 3 years, obetimenya British passport, and your system, I'm saying 10 years, 5 years.
10 years, yeah.
Enti obana waba hano. Onim the way a system no a work wo krom ha. Enti o depend be man no kofa ne ba ye no. Be man na ye nani, aye na so, aye ni bibia. Enti na se be ma sabio ni time din a na or taking advantage, na abuse financially, emotionally, and everything. Say okwaka or say we are me do beden. And this is why I want to come in, and I think our dear sister lawyers will also agree with me here that there is a law in place to protect you if you find yourself in such a situation. That would be matter. That's a paper on Krata Samakrano and interest or say man who abuse you.
Yeah.
Come forward. The law will protect you.
Yeah.
I don't know person maker.
Yamisha, na me so me kakra media no wo Ghana more Ghana or mine na ye friend Ghana na me no me no ye free mo no e wo se emra sha ase ye adwuma wo sa akrom enti say the Ghana diaspora women no e wo se ye nyina ye kabom Near ya back, where you sre men no so say more from who are the entire
cheap.
Any gender ministry, any more. Gender ministries, they said, you're mobile tea and papa, yeah, catch yeah, mammy, ye minister for gender, Madam Cynthia Mamle Morrison, and ya mammy, Honorable Frida Prempe, yes, minister, yes, Sremo. They said the Ghana diaspora women mobile tea and kappa because
we invite you to programs, you know. We invite you to programs. That's lobby. We invite you to programs.
You be invite them. You be invite.
Actually, to cry, be coho.
You did be my high commissioner, you did be my chapters, Minadi be my high commissioners, or baby, all our chapters are no. Near the bishop Magana, near the recommendations, and so come. Yes, I side no. Now, yeah, workshops and so then you call February, you're quite try, you know, you're quite a you bet me. There's no, you call February for an honorable Frida Prempe, Deputy Minister for Gender, MICSA. So your back Ghana, Krana, your be programmer. I am your focus no in free Accra. Now your focus no sabi concrasim and what education in here more. And say no son, ye baby no yami ya don't say lockdown we be any idea. You be organizing when it towards the end of the year, nothing yami aduma early next year. They your corner your question workshops, you know. Young girls, so a lot of mentoring programs.
That is where we have to start, Marie. The young girls.
Yeah. Until we fix. And then another recommendation is what I was saying to me, they might buying say. So one more year, one more I didn't a try the one, not mama for politics, kakra mremua, because we are dear a baby politics, so kakra. So I was saying to me, catch and penny for politicians, and they also say. So almost campaign near the that is the time now. Omunya enipa no dodo na bebre. Omunya vote for me, no. Now omu fa binye education. We cannot stress. Me jina platform yi so kwana maka say me ne ye first lady. Ya Ghana first lady ya maame Rebecca Akufo-Addo. Me ne na di nkomo kitwa bi pen. Emokai or see education.
It is. I agree.
Education. So my Ghana bekon anymore. It is education. Education. And we have to run them simultaneously. Yeah. Gender ministry. Far junior boom said you bet me the regulations about churches, no institutions, baby a man in Kwara will be no. There has to be some regulations. And now, even I'm sorry, but almost a shem marano kurani bina almost kuran omo penny for a shem marano almost kuran abusing no nina a young command a was a yedi. Command was yeah and no na workshop on it at the idea so the best that we can. See you be abu simultaneously.
Yeah, I think we need a lot of it's a combination of all the things that we need. But ultimately the structure has to change. Structure has to change. So from the ground up, doing the workshop, working with the mindset, it's very difficult to change somebody's mindset when their reality is, how do I survive on a day-to-day basis? Like a lot of our mothers, the women are. They're just, how can I feed myself, my children? So the education is great. But until we come up with a way to deal with their daily struggles whilst they're working on their mindset and they're educated, and then they know that those at the top are making laws and regulations that reflect their needs. Conversation for another time, the whole issue about, the taxes or the money women have to pay for sanitary towels, for things that are natural. It has to be a ground, a top-down, bottom-up approach.
Sister Agnes. Okay, I think Mr. Martin, there's a gentleman who has, I've just noticed a comment say we are hammering too much on the women because we are a women's advocacy group. But they want us to stress on the fact that some women also abuse men. And I've just replied that we had talked about that at the beginning. But if somebody wants to highlight on that a little bit.
Oh yeah, of course. Domestic abuse does not only relate to women. There are men victims as well. But let me emphasize, women are disproportionately the victims.
Yeah.
Every research indicate that there are, yes, we agree and accept that there are men victims of domestic violence. And some academic will argue that due to the shame of men, they're losing their ego. They don't want to come out to report. Okay, more research is needed around that. But the available research as now indicates that women are disproportionately victims of domestic abuse as opposed or compared to, in comparison to men.
Yeah, if I can just add to that, the last I read, as of 2016, I think studies were done in Ghana that 1/3 of women globally are affected by domestic violence and abuse. So that's globally, let alone the statistics in Ghana. And for the part of the population, that's the majority of the population, it is obviously, like you said, disproportionately affected.
I have a question.
You need to seek advice as well. Don't, as he said, ego. If you are suffering, don't sit down in silence. You can be anonymous and seek help.
Yes.
I have a question, and this goes to the lawyers. If the two, Sister Angela and Sister Sharon, if you can kindly touch a little bit on when people infringe on other people's privacy rights. So for example, I have a privacy, like I'm covered by privacy rights in the UK, which means that nobody here in the UK without my consent can show my photo to anybody, can give my address to anybody, can give my name and any other information about me to anybody, because it is against data protection. It's against the Data Protection Act and also Privacy Act, and so on and so forth. Can you ladies, the two lawyers on, can you kindly touch a little bit on that? And if you have any idea about how the laws in Ghana work pertaining to privacy rights.
Yeah. So here we have two sets of laws that you've mentioned. So we have it, because here we have a common law system, and that is law that's been developed through cases. It's gone through courts, and then they've become precedents, and then we use them to judge on new offences or crimes that come through. So we have common law, and we have the common law of duty of confidence. So if somebody has information about you which is confidential, and they reasonably know it's confidential, and it is deemed to be confidential, they cannot give them out. That is part of your right under the human right privacy and family life. So that will include your doctor. He has met your medical records. Yeah, you cannot give that information out. Your exam records. Those and the reason for duty of confidence is that information doesn't necessarily have to be what we termed as personal data. There is a whole definition for personal data, but they're intertwined. Then we have the GDPR, which also here in the UK, we also have the Data Protection Act of 2018. And those are now new stricter laws. And so your privacy, so before any company or anybody who holds data on you can process it, and that means doing anything with your data, they have to have a lawful basis for doing that. So that's consent, whether it's via a contract. So for instance, your energy company may have your personal details, even down to your meter, your electricity meter in your house, because it's linked to your location. It's your personal data. They can't just freely give that out. And then photos. So your photos, if somebody takes a picture of you, if it clearly identifies you, your CCTV image, if you walk past a shop and there's CCTV image, that is your personal data. If the police said, oh, we're suspecting a crime and we think and we want to CCTV footage of this particular time, they will have to justify, whoever owns that CCTV, why they need it.
What about Sharon? Sharon, in terms of the photos, what about if the photo is already out there in the public domain? I.e., for example, if somebody's photo is already on the internet.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Even though it's out on the internet, it's still your personal data. whoever is going to pick it up and use it will have to seek permission. If it's been published like for like a photographer, we're now getting into the laws of copyright. And even then, before you can go and download the picture from a website, you actually have to get consent from the owner who actually owns that picture.
Otherwise, you can also, what I believe is also acceptable is giving credit to whoever the photographer is. If you're able to give credit.
Reference.
Yeah.
Yes. Now let's look at, and so when it comes to, so there's a lawful basis. Now for journalists, if they're going to use your details or going to publish information about you, they should really get your consent, but there's also exemptions. So special purposes for the public interest, but that has to be balanced and weighed against your right of privacy. And here we have broadcasting rights, rules, codes of conduct under Ofcom, which is the communication regulator that regulates there's TV channels, radios, even some online video on demand. For newspapers, it's the Independent Press organization that IPSO, I can't remember what they mean, but they regulate the press. And so they cannot just go, they have to stick to some codes of conduct. So there are exempt, if they've got a picture of you and they think it's justified under public interest and there is a test that they can publish it. But even now, the press, especially in the UK, have been challenged so many times. I think the leading case was the case against was Naomi Campbell versus the Mirror Group, where she was seen coming out of a drugs organization where she was getting treatment, and then went and published her incorrect facts actually of her treatment and her picture standing outside there. They were that went to the Supreme Court, and that was judged to be a breach of her confidence and a breach of personal data too. Now in Ghana, our personal data laws are probably some of the best in Africa. In fact, it's very identical to the UK and rest of European law in terms of data protection. And it also does have the special purpose exemption for journalists. However, journalists are still under the rule of to protect people's privacy. In the Constitution of Ghana, Article 18.2 protects the privacy of citizens in Ghana, and that's what's linked to the Data Protection Act in Ghana. That basically brings that right out, and so journalists do have that right, and there are broadcasting rights. Unfortunately, me doing my research, I do not know that we have the National Media Commission that is supposed to regulate content of how some of our media outlets and our broadcast stations and radio stations, what they put out there to the public. The regulations are not that clear. They're not public. There's no way of making a complaint. I went today just to look, how can you make a complaint? I went to the site, it's still under construction. That's not acceptable.
I've actually been sent, a number for, I believe it's the National Media Commission, NMC. Yeah, so if you want to make a complaint about any broadcasting network in Ghana, you make a complaint to the National Media Commission. So they I believe are the regulatory body which is under the Communications Ministry.
And unfortunately, they don't publish the rules. So right now, if you want to see what BBC and or Sky or some of these other broadcasting channels, the rules that they have to work under, the broadcasting rules, they're subjected to, you can just go online and read the rules. They're very clear and very understandable. In Ghana, where do you find out about these rules? You have to go around the circle. So people don't even know what broadcasters can do in the first place. And then you have to go and call up. And so it should be accessible to the whole public. If a media station is abusing somebody, mentioning somebody's name or their location, or even worse, their picture, without the person's consent, or not even giving that person notice, actually, we're going to go out here. Most newspaper articles, most newspaper stations and the press will usually give you about 24 hours to 12 hours. You have the right to justify the story that we're going to publish about you. This is what we're going to publish about you. And you have the right to answer to what the allegations we have on you or whatever. In Ghana, by the time you know somebody's calling you, oh, your picture is on so and so's media channel. it's unacceptable and it's breaching the rules. Now here you can, if we have the data, the Information Commissioner's Office, that you can report if there's been a breach of your personal data. In Ghana, we have the Data Protection Commission that you can report to. Again, they've got a website, so you can go on there and try and find and there's a way of making a complaint. So we do have the rules. It's the enforcement. That's the problem.
It's the enforcement. The enforcement, yeah, the rules are there.
Yeah.
The rules are there. It's the enforcement that's the issue.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh.
And that's
That
why
was the thing that I was going to wait and ask. Are these enforceable? Have we got a body to enforce it in Ghana, or are they just there for the sake of it?
Personally, to me, I feel that sometimes they're just there for the sake of it, and they just don't even have the money or even the skills to even investigate, even to enforce.
All right.
But I think it comes back to what a lot of you all were saying in terms of education, because as much as I was saying, you have the law, but the law cannot stand in isolation. First, people have to know about what the laws are. And then even if in terms of the enforcement, even sometimes just being aware of your rights gives you power enough to make the other person back off. Because, you know, if they feel that there's another authority above them, perhaps that they may be reported to, you knowing your rights. But when you don't actually even know that, oh, this person is not entitled to do this, the other person thinks they can continue in that fashion.
Yeah.
Sorry,
So
can I quickly ask our dear lawyers and bring it back to the subject for discussion today? In a situation where a couple have made maybe love video when they were in relationship, and then after years or months, the relationship has broken down, and then the other partner decide to use this recorded video to blackmail the other to get at the other partner. How do you address this legally?
I think
both here in Ghana
we should
and
have a
both
time
in UK
for
and
this
Ghana.
topic for the lawyers and some of us.
Yeah.
I think this is a very big discussion. What Mary wrote about the pictures, the videos. So if you agree with me, if we schedule a time to talk about pictures, videos, and all those things, private things that people bring out without the consent of the person. That would be great. Because if you don't do that, we're just going to touch it and not really elaborate go deep on it, because these things are going on and it's just trending. People are doing that. Even married couples that have married, they are doing that. So I think it's a broad topic that the lawyers can still be on. Anyone who wants to, I mean, we can discuss and, you know, come back on and tackle on this issue, because I think people are stepping on people's toes with us.
Yes.
Okay.
If I may just jump in there for a second, another thing we can add on, Sister Agnes, for another time is duty of care and grooming. Now, I found myself in a situation here in the UK where, because I'm in education and my level of teaching and everything, I was literally caught in the system because I had knowledge of a child being abused and did nothing about it. But that was from a cultural perspective. Obviously, it's not me abusing that child. It's not me abusing my child. This is outside my home, outside my remit. And when the police and social services got wind of the fact that I knew about it, I was caught up for neglecting the child's needs because I did not exert my duty of care. And so we also have to bear in mind that each one of us in our own small way have a duty of care in ensuring that nobody is abused. The other thing is grooming. A lot of people are being groomed to be abused. And that is another thing that we have to look at for the next time. I'm not sure how much time we have, but before we go,
we've overrun.
What I wanted really to point out, family, is we are all Christians, and or we believe we are, or we call ourselves to be. Whatever we believe in is fine. But most of Ghanaians, every corner, every junction in Ghana, you take one street, you count 10 churches, maybe 20. And all these people are going to church, and even the mindset with which they go to church is very different and very wrong. It shouldn't be. We don't go to seek God for wealth, but that is what we think because of what the economy is like. However, I want to point out how powerful tradition is and why we need to educate all of us. In the book of Mark, chapter Mark chapter 7, from verse 8. I'm reading just 4 verses so we can look at something. For laying aside the commandment of God, you hold the tradition of men, the washing of pitchers and cups, and many other such things you do. He said to them, all too well, you reject the commandment of God that you may keep your tradition. For Moses said, honor your father and mother, and he who curses father or mother, let him be put to death. But you say, if a man says to his father or mother, whatever profit you might have received from me is korban, that is a gift to God, then you no longer let him do anything for his or her father. Verse 13, making the word of God of no effect through your tradition, which you have handed down, and many such things. God respects man. God loves man. And out of his love, he gave us our will. However, our cultures and our traditions even nullify the word of God. It cancels out the will of God even for man. That is how powerful man is. And that is how powerful our cultures are. And I agree totally. The way to go is education. Educating people at the top to begin to think about everybody. Educating people at the bottom to begin to see themselves beyond the way we have brought them up. Even Paul said to the church, nobody should despise Timothy because he is a youth. We are all human beings. We have eyes and nose and mouths and ears, and we breathe. We all breathe life. Coronavirus, yeah, come for fashion them. We are so for your penny or your sicker. It's important that we begin.
Now, Thomasin.
Yes, ma'am.
Going back to Ghana, somewhere, isn't it funny how coronavirus you buy it?
Marie, that's another conversation.
Marie, you agree?
Yes, that's
another conversation.
Ghana diaspora for
Ghana diaspora women. Yeah, there no limit. There you can't look correct, but you
where you are, my friend is a woman and say about running out. Yeah, when we are
abuse. Yeah, can say, yes, and I say,
no, in kitchen, but in many people was here dive very deep. I was here dive very deep. My church will be
Agnes, me patcho, me will last a young person mekan say, me conclusion. Ye guswa ye petition Ghana diaspora women ya setting up petitions mienu no baako ekoma osophobia owo Ghana yenya nenti say all abuse emma ene nkwara video evidence wo ho ode ne nan otu ne nan ewo oba ya ase otumi ma oba eswa cement ewo niti so otumi papai enkwara asum enkwara the last one mimi hukwa na kwara ne yoba opaya kwara na sumu asore dem. Now let me state here say obi baya argument said na say e man na bi na de wo mo hoko in akwara incident here ye pai na sumu asore dem sofo no bo akwara na sumu no akwara na ne maami gina ho maami na ne ma sofo no ho kan say wo mo ne ba no. But nya ye can say whether maame ne ma kwan anase ma na bi na di omuhoko anase oba na ya abuse no kra ono ase eye okay ya Ghana diaspora women cultural system ne say it is not okay,
it's not right.
Ye petition na ye no, it is not an attack against osophobia. It is an awareness to the system. We are talking to the system. We are telling the government of Ghana through the Ministry of Gender say abuse is happening in that church. Now, the second petition, a lawmaker, almost shamrano, Baku, no so who says abuse, no, more verbal abuse, and no, so your person sending message, Ministry of Gender say. And also no enye Sebi obia wo shemra de won't me shemra na won some mu emra ne so. Abuse is abuse, verbally, physically, emotionally, psychologically, financially, sexually. Abuse is abuse. Until sebu petition na enyen tokwa mon sign a petition in my yen near ye can say ye pese ye tri gender ministry adwin ba bibi so say yen nyina Ghana for ma see ye wa kwantuo mo ye wo fie yen nyina yen fa adwin mom ye hia mema no so da ema mo de mo ho ode atai ye chi yen fa adwin mom ne yen hwe said ye be ya saa no mani nyina no ye be ye free Ghana ye system num ama enoma to ye said ye be ya oba bi nam ho a o feel safe Abarabi namwa or kwa sorry o feel safe. Said yana ye can sofu be emfane power. Emma bona sumun country and say be a memma we are may you say and now say obi or shemra be emma emfa or no so power no one it goes back to power or no so power na or one on fa anything emfa abuse emma nia ye no enyen tokwa yete ho Emma takurade Emma miensa Emaiwa miensa ewu takurade Emaiwa miensa ni wu ye no ye nya message free ye ma menom Emma 36 na wo parliament no omu nyina ka omu tibo mu women's caucus na wo Ghana parliament no e the information betu dwa say enkwara no na omu nim nia omonka because na omu ni information bebre enti omu anya ho hwe e ma nkwara 36 enkwara miensa ewuye e ma 36 and a good parliament women's caucus say they did not have enough information enti omu entumi anya ho hwe and they came out and they apologized. It is not acceptable say enkwara miensa bewu and all we get is an apology. You know nia ye kan say enye ntokwa a gender ministry any yem penny phone be and a new mudin como to wa wo pen na wo de wa ho de atai echi me kan kire ye say e ma na bi na ma ho kwan ono ano ma ho kwan ya eno na enne ya ba be kire mu wa why some victims allow these things to happen to them because of stigma, because of fear, because of all these things that were mentioned from the panel no tino me de kakra na me peste me de twato
Mission Pesami Kasam Kakra. Minister, our hoy, me Pesami, me Casa Femichen. It goes back to abuse. When it comes to marriage, a man bebre, send a cast of more abuse or more remuno. Omoko Bible, more Christopher Memasam Namika yo. Omoko Bible, more Casse, when Yako Pansam say, or bow Honamno, and Yawodia, a Yokudia. Or no sooner there to no pen, Enna or day. When these things happen, that's all bad at the court. Sorry, another be echo car near Bonnet, near Casse. I was set with the Onyanko answer so. And
very quickly, very quickly, but very quickly, you know, we take verses out of context. What kind of whole chapter now? What kind of whole chapter now? You won't take just that verse and use it as people do. Yeah. And so then be Rebecca and also for Rebecca Sassam not say you move piano. Young can't chest of one and part kind chapter in Mr.
Yes. Yes. So we're going to round it up. I mean, it's very educative and we've all enjoyed it. And if you've just tuned in, just tune it again after we have logged out. You can still listen to it. And if you are in this kind of situation, please don't die in silence. I always say some people are just there under the air condition, but they are just sweating because of abuse. So come out of that. You'll be better off in the sun than being in that air condition and still sweat.
Abuse dear sister I give me part your fast so say abuse is wrong ma or babia na be tolerating abuse.
You have to know your value.
Abuse style be any abuse.
Me paucho ma minka na be me bia no bit ho a won't abuse re manyo amarana potomano amarana doklo malorejo amarana hogalasho malorejo me a Ghana diaspora women me be grombody fifia me jiba me akpere me duko rolanchi le Ghana ne me ahuru no amono nyabedi And we actually come a lot of you, Magana no one now. Abuse, manu.
Pepa chobi so ka wan kran mu sister agi kan wan kran mu ma ya wa yesra o.
Pero ten grandpa.
Okay. Anya mi mani nyambo wotu egbekene wanda nye feshi. No ni wo ba wi egbekene feji. Abuse in Yano, your society, the Ghanaian society, whether Ghana or women who are your abrochi or abuse in Yano, no ni Yanoji, ye pi, or mamime, when yamime ye, or be ye, ke ye fe, abuse, ekomeji jamo, ka jabo, or ye marriage, me alo ye benamina jabo, ko wuteshida, lebi ba jabo, who aba jibo. Aba febo nipi ni ehi shika denche ehabo shika ko ya bile shika eba jebo ko honi ni eye eba ekeni ni eba hwe shi e ka ba hwe ni nibi pi ni ya no
ko be he wale ke ba wo
ko be he wale ko
By force.
Oh, Nana, someone who will be on any lockdown, yeah. Or by so what bread or Johnny, ordinary sa wa bonting.
Ko be he wale ko eke chinchina alo sebi ofe oye menstruation ofe o olololo eta na ke ba wo na kani bi efe akobi nwo oye marriage mi owule ko bi le nwo alo partner ko bi nwo ole fe ofe o na budi ofe no ko wanta wo kenye beke na ke fe abuse ni e wo bi ane nyemi me aye ni wo yo abrochie watche organization na cho wo Ghana diaspora women woke wantani na kanie ekpa ye wo ma mi Ghana wantani law ni yo Ghana mra jo bi na cho le wantani chuni ona ke wo so mo gie ni nye ya wo nyemi me ye so mo gie o sofo ehu pi wona ka me hu nye tashi na me abusing it ona or software feel like a here power over you. It will not let back where no pennies and no fee. I can put no jay or have enjoy he. One time what billing your demo me. No one yan lakish in a can be a fair he at an a bow of fair to ledenche. Eh, how a fair demo, no banyo or jay or how he. Yeah, cannot go na obanyo kotoshi. No warning no kwenwe no kaka na numakeshi nekeni nengbanna na mo wami ebawa bohu. Eja ke nyungo papa ni e wo ko twi ko power ko mind ni nyungo ke haboe odwemo ni nyungo ke haboe kaka wo osofokode no ha ni e manipulatable ni e fable na esumo na kani bi efensa na ekpa e wo kwe wo na akeshi wo nyemeye wo kenye boy wie mo je nmenesa ne pi e wo mami meke wo nyenu e wo bia na wo ko wo he akeshi wo ke gender ministry ni yo Ghana wo mami Cynthia Mamle Morris gender ministry na money gender ministry no ni manya marriage no ji ministry makola keshi the
ablado wa me ablado money akala wa me na me nkwaye ka hia ke baka bi ni bi
that's right no fiano ni ji ye ahisane beke bi ye ahisane ke mo fiamo hisane because social protection ufitahi no acho am gender ministry for gender, children, and social protection. Nicho akeshi boyo, bonuo, beke kejinu, kejiyo, ke social protection. No fiano ni ba wana as a society. Tomo rape, abuse, can be nefe. Wake wasane ya wa mami Cynthia Mamle Morrison. Wa mami Cynthia Mamle Morrison. Bi ane onya nyumeji wo obi onya mi ma yeji wo mi wo yo abrochi
no
because ni bi ya no ni one town wo ko dwemo ko honorable Frida Prempeh wo kenye dwemo mba no akeshi ni bi ko me ya no ni sanekpa eni wo ba Ghana 63 years after independence wonye watashi ni dane wo ba ka akeshi law
next time make a trip. Listen, next time make a trip.
Hey, Sister Augusta, make us a maintain trip.
Oh, next time make a
Mr. Martin as Amwamida say a free one now was one wabeboy near this age. Particularly radio anyway, a jumanti, a better on after from Retiti, and wabana and Yamasani, the Mujuma. And Tiaba Peda, than about the Abati da Coin, Babaka, near church or no one. And thank you so much for watching. Please share the video. Bless somebody, save a soul. I always say it's not in the church room that you can save somebody. This thing somebody may not know, but you sharing it and them listening can give them a change of mind. So please share the video.
Yes.
Yeah. Thank you.
Thank you.
Helpline numbers to social media page now so people can contact if they need help.
Mede domestic domestic violence media to mede national media a friend commission no baby wa wunim TV station bia obi atena so a oya abuse or dem ma picture ne niam ne bibia opesa wo report bia no National Media Commission number no media no so beto ha o chena nyame adma Monday juada no ye be frɛ wo mo na formally ye complain ama wo mo as Ghana diaspora women say no maybe no mo so particular TV stations be no we are not happy about it. Okay. And made the number never to her will be asked to me free.
Bye bye for now.
Bye bye.
Thank you.
Bye. Thank you. Bye.
Good evening.